Have you ever tried deploying a facial recognition system in production and suddenly found yourself dealing with gigabytes of Docker images, CUDA compatibility issues, dependency version conflicts, and huge pre-trained model downloads? That's exactly the problem I want to talk about today. Because while DeepFace GitHub repository is open source and very easy to use locally, production deployment is completely different story. And recently I came across a managed solution called deepface.dev, which provides a cloud environment and basically lets you to use DeepFace draw simple API calls without managing the infrastructure yourself. This video is not directly sponsored by deepface.dev platform or technical team. On the other hand, they supported my open source work via Patreon, but I also found this project interesting enough to share here. They also cited DeepFace repository on their website. Hi folks, this is Shefik. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before jumping into the video, please like the video and do not forget to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest videos. Also, your comments are more than welcome. Thank you for your all support in advance. So, first, let's talk about the problem. Even though DeepFace is open source, but as a developer, you still need to manage its dependencies. You can find out its dependencies here. The core DeepFace package is going to depend on each dependency one by one, and in particular, TensorFlow and Keras are very huge dependencies. Even though we are calling DeepFace as a lightweight facial recognition tool, this stack is not lightweight at all. For example, its official Docker image give us a good indication of dependency footprint. The image itself is around 1.7 gigabytes. On top of that, pre-trained model weights are downloaded during runtime, and many of them, as you can see here, are hundreds of megabytes in size. So even though using DeepFace locally is very straightforward for experimentation, on the other hand, production deployment and maintenance can become a real operational task. This is exactly where DeepFace Cloud or deepface.dev as they called comes in. Instead of managing the infrastructure by yourself, you can simply use their hosted API. Idea is pretty straightforward. You generate an API key, make HTTP requests, and use DeepFace functionalities directly from the cloud. So if your priority is shipping products quickly instead of maintaining machine learning infrastructure, this can be an interesting option for you. At the moment, the platform exposes endpoints such as verify and represent, which are among the most commonly used DeepFace functionalities. So, for example, verify allows you to compare two faces, and represent allows you to generate vector embeddings from facial images. And the workflow is intentionally simple. You send an API request with your images and you receive the response back without worrying about the model hosting or dependency management. One important detail I realize is model licensing. Some facial recognition models have licenses that may not be allowed in commercial purposes. Because of that, certain models are excluded from this platform. For instance, VGG-Face, which is the default facial recognition model in DeepFace library, is not included. So, who is DeepFace Cloud for? I think DeepFace Cloud makes the most sense for startups building MVPs, developers who don't want to manage their machine learning infrastructure, teams without GPU environments, who needs rapid prototyping, and finally serverless or lightweight backend architectures. On the other hand, if you already have your own GPU infrastructure and strict control requirements, self-hosting DeepFace may still be the better option for you. Now let me show you how to consume DeepFace Cloud services via deepface.dev. You have to sign up the service first, but I'm skipping this step because I already have an account. Thereafter, you should create an API key for your experiments. Thereafter, I'm going to work on the DeepFace folder, which can be accessed publicly from the repository. Thereafter, I'm going to change my folder to tests, unit tests, and dataset. Here you can find the unit test items of the DeepFace project. Then I'm going to test the represent endpoint. First, to do this, I'm going to call this curl command. Let's check the command itself. We are going to call the represent endpoint. Thereafter, I'm sending my API key in the mirror token, and I stored my key in the deepface underscore cloud underscore k environment variable in my computer. Thereafter, I'm going to use the image1.jpg in this folder, and I'm going to use the FaceNet model in this experiment. And that's all. I don't have any deepface installation in my base environment, but I'm still able to call the deepface's embedding endpoint. Secondly, let's test the verify endpoint, which requires an image pair, image1 and image2. Here I'm going to call the verify endpoint from api.deepface.dev. Similarly, I'm going to set my API key in the mirror token, and in the form information, I'm going to set the image pair in the image1 and image2 case. Additionally, I'm setting the model name to FaceNet, and this returns the verified key true, so image1 and image2 are same person in this experiment. Let's remember the given image pair from the base repository. Image1 was an image of Angelina Jolie, and image2 was an image of Angelina Jolie too. So it's expected to have true in the verified key. This was a true positive example, and let's test a true negative. In other words, actual as false and predicted as false. Here image 3 was an image of Jennifer Aniston, so if I test this verify endpoint with image 1, which was Angelina Jolie, and image 3, which was Jennifer Aniston, I expect to have false in the verified key. So as expected, verify endpoint returns false in the verified key for the image pair of different persons. Even though I don't have an installation for the deepface and its dependencies, I'm able to call it verify and represent endpoints very easily from the deepface.dev environment. Also, I don't care the dependency compatibility issues, CUDA version things, because GPU used in these experiments, and I don't care about the pre-trained model downloads. Here 100-ish megabyte file is required to be downloaded for the FaceNet model. And finally, I don't care anything about the runtime optimizations. DeepFace Cloud makes DeepFace's infrastructure really lightweight. So overall, I think this is an interesting direction for the DeepFace ecosystem. Open source gives developers flexibility and transparency, but infrastructure management is still a real engineering cost. And once you move beyond local experiments, things like dependency conflicts, GPU environments, Docker image size, model downloads, scaling, monitoring, and maintenance start becoming part of the project. That's the gap DeepFace Cloud is trying to solve. Instead of spending time maintaining the machine learning stack, you can focus on building the actual product and integrate facial recognition through simple API calls. Of course, self-hosting still makes sense for many teams, especially if you need full control, custom deployment strategies, private infrastructure, or maximum cost optimization at scale. But for MVPs, startups, prototypes, and teams that want faster integration, managed infrastructure can dramatically reduce operational complexity. I also appreciate that they openly reference the DeepFace GitHub repository on their website and seem to be careful about commercial licensing considerations for different models. So if you are interested, you can check them out and decide whether a managed DeepFace deployment fits your workflow better than maintaining everything yourself. And if you already deployed facial recognition systems in production, I would be curious about to hear your experience, especially around infrastructure, scaling, and dependency management. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.